Super excited about this episode. This is the first one I've had with two people remotely, so this is going to be a fun experience with Ian and Kumar here. You guys are with Grand Welcome Vacation Rental Properties, right?
That is correct. Grand
Perfect.
Welcome. Good.
Yeah, perfect. And you guys are out of Destin and Miramar predominantly. So before we get into what you guys do, because it's not just property rentals, it's more than that. You know, we've talked a little bit about what you guys do. I want to get a little bit about your background. So Kumar, I'll go with you first. Where are you originally from? Actually, first, it's my understanding, Kumar, you're the owner of Grand Welcome. Is that right?
So I'm the owner of Grand Welcome franchise for Destin.
Gotcha.
Grand
Okay.
Welcome is nationwide. We have about 1,600 properties over 28 states. And this is the only franchise model that does property management, unlike the other players in the market who are either nationwide big chain or you have local businesses, small businesses that are handling 3 to 10 properties. But we are nationwide, and we own. I particularly own the. Let me restate that. Rolf, please edit this last page. So I own the Grand Welcome franchise for Destin and Miramar Beach.
Okay, cool. So you own the franchise in Destin and Miramar Beach, and then Ian, you are the manager. What's your role? What's your title?
So I'm the assistant general manager for both Destin and Miramar.
Assistant general manager. That reminds me of The Office with Dwight, where he's like assistant to the regional manager.
That's who I am.
I love it. I love it.
So,
all right, so
Ian is known to understate things. He's our rock star. We took a good 2 to 3 years to find him, and he's been super immersed with this whole going live with our business and everything. So, yeah, he's our assistant general manager, but essentially he's our rock star of our business.
Awesome. I love it. All right, let's get a little bit of background on both of you guys. So, Kumar, we'll start with you. Where are you from originally? And, you know, I guess kind of walk us through like where you're from and then how you ended up here.
Yeah, absolutely. So originally from India, a long way away. We moved to the US about 25 years ago.
Okay.
And been all over the place within the US, Texas, California, Michigan, Wisconsin. I think between Michigan and Wisconsin, I paid my snow dues. And now we moved to Florida about 8-10 years ago and have been living in Florida for at least half of my life here in the US.
Okay, very cool. So I'm not super familiar with India, but I got to ask, what part of India are you from?
I'm from a city called Hyderabad. It's almost like the south side of India. If you imagine Texas bottom as the peninsula,
yeah.
So I'm right there where you'd see perhaps San Antonio or Austin towards the middle of that peninsular area.
Okay, that's a great way to explain it. I like that because I know what the bottom of India looks like. So very cool. So probably not a lot of snow where you were from. And then you decided to come here.
Ooh, it was proper tropical weather. And that's why I love Florida. Florida reminds me of India weather.
Yeah.
Very tropical. Definitely a little more humid actually than where I grew up. But no, it's beautiful.
That surprises me.
Yeah.
All right, so you said it's a little bit more humid here than India was, but you got the weather. You know, it reminds you of India weather. That's awesome. What brought you to the U.S.?
Actually, I came to University of Texas, Dallas to do my master's degree in computer science.
Okay.
And after finishing the master's degree, I was offered an internship. The job looked good. I thought, you know, post college, I could have some fun before I go back. One thing led to the other. Before I knew, met my wife in Kentucky, got married, and now we have 2 children, 2 girls, and we're all in Florida now.
That's awesome. That's a great story. So my wife is she went to Texas A&M. She was born and raised in the Dallas area, but I don't know if we can be friends now because she's an
No.
Aggie. So by marriage, I'm supposed to be an Aggie, I think.
Yes, but you gotta hook 'em horns for life.
Throwing it
Uh,
in. I love it.
yeah, for what it's worth, my wife ended up working for Eastman Chemicals in Pittsburgh for a little bit,
Hmm.
and she's a Steelers fan, and I'm a
Okay.
Cowboys fan,
Yeah.
and never a good ending there.
Yeah. Sundays, you just have to be in opposite ends of the house, right? It's like you go over there, I'm over here. We'll be all right.
Indeed.
All right, Ian. What about you?
I am originally from Toledo, Ohio, where I focused on hotels. I then moved to Florida in 2018. I was sick of the snow and one day just decided to pretty much pack up and come on down here without any real plan. And ended up working at the Henderson Park Inn, the adults only bed and breakfast here in Destin. And then after that, started to get into the short term rentals. And here I am.
Awesome. Easy. All
Yeah,
right. So you like it here?
I love it here.
Great. I think most people do. I do. Yeah, we've been here for
Yeah.
6 years and 7 years now. Yeah, it's great. I bounced around the panhandle a little bit, but Florida's definitely home for us now. So,
Hmm.
um, very nice. All right, cool. So you guys got here, kind of had different paths for making it here, but once you got here, you decided, Kumar, to buy the franchise, the Grand Welcome franchise. Um, I talked to you a little bit before we started, and you were talking about having it be more than just property management. Um, for anyone that doesn't know, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but Grand Welcome is essentially for people that own short-term rental properties that you guys are full management service.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely. You're right, Micah. Grand Welcome essentially does business with two parties. One is the property owners, and the other one is the guests who want to enjoy that property. So we are the medium that's connecting the property owners with the guests who want to book that place. What Grand Welcome's unique proposition is that we are a full service, and again, along with that full service property management, we are also the only one that has local accountability. If you look at other nationwide players in this area, they have 20 different managers, 30 different managers for your area. They'll give you a 1-800 number and they'll ask you to connect with them and all that. Unlike them, we are very much involved with our local community. We are, as you said earlier, it's not just about vacation rental management. We are all about providing experiences to the guests as well. Destin, as you know, has the best family friendly beaches. You can't get wrong with emerald green water and white sand beaches. To top it off, for guests who are coming in, we want to make sure that it's not just about the beaches. We want them to experience bonfire by the beach. If you have a huge party happening, we want to bring you a hibachi grill to your property, and make sure it's a well-fed property. We want to help you set up activities outside of the beach, maybe going into the Gulf with fishing charters and so on and so forth. So,
Go ahead. You're good.
so for us, it's about that experience for while we are interacting with the property managers, making their life easier, let us as professionals handle the business of dealing with uh, listing their property on Airbnb or 80 other OTAs. We actually list on multiple OTAs. Again, no one else does this. Excuse me. While we are listing those properties and marketing those properties, when the guests reserve the property, check in, check out, making sure the property is clean and ready for the next property, next guest reservation, and so on. So that is the full service aspect of it. And we don't want the property owners, most of whom are out of town, out of state, to worry about taking care of a call in the middle of the night when a guest is experiencing a problem. So we are providing that full service property manager, but on the flip side of it, guests who want to come to Destin, our economy, our local economy is tied to tourism. We want to make sure tourism is live and well, and is providing, continuously providing to our community. And that comes with not just renting out the property, but making it an experience for the family that's visiting us. So I feel that's where our unique proposition is, that we're not just vacation rental management. We are all about the experiences for the guests as well.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, so you just gave me a lot, and I would love to unpack it. So I would say, you're brave to jump into an industry that has so much competition in the area, but I'm a real estate agent, and we're a dime a dozen, so I understand. um, you guys are here. There's obviously a lot of competition here. Without getting too much into the specifics, I guess, because I don't want to try and nail you down or hold your feet to the fire or anything like that. But I owned a short-term rental property for a little bit. Mine was actually out in Panama City Beach, and we ended up hiring a property manager. And that, I guess, the freedom that I felt, that if we were going out of town or we were going hiking, I felt like I needed to have my phone on me all the time as the owner, because I was like, man, if someone's here for 2 days and the water heater breaks,
Yep,
we have to be the ones. And it was constant. Hey, we want to go float the river as the owner, and we have a check-in that we haven't heard from, but they've paid. Check-ins at 4. So then it's like, cool, we need to make sure we have to adjust our entire trip. So if you are looking at getting into the short-term property rental business, and you're an owner thinking about buying a house, having a full service property management was just a huge breath of fresh air. The one thing that took me a while, and hopefully you have numbers on this, if you don't, it's okay. Everything we looked at when we were shopping around for who we wanted to use was between like 18 and 22%. That seemed to kind of be the industry standard.
yeah,
There was a couple that fluctuated, but seemingly you get what you pay for, right? So if you find the one that's like 12%, you're like, well, you're probably going to get 12% service with that 12% fee. But that seemed to be the norm. Full service, you guys take care of everything, right? Check-ins, check-outs, maintenance, cleanings. Essentially an owner, if they wanted to and signed off, could just say like, I don't want to hear from you, just send the check and we're good.
that's it, exactly.
That's awesome.
You put it, you the life small things of being able to enjoy and go float on the river, as you said.
Right.
It'll all revolve around your investment if you're managing your own property.
Right.
So for us, making it full service and not bothering you to do bits and pieces of that property management is where we really make the difference. For instance, I was just talking to a homeowner the other day. She was with a smaller property manager, and they built up a profile of about 40, 50 properties, and then that business got sold to a bigger entity. They too had about 200 properties, I think. But as soon as the switch happened, she lost all control. Her property did not get listed for almost 7 months. And the new guys, they just didn't care much.
Right.
So the problem there is, as you said, there are so many different players in this market, and cost is not the differentiator. Really, as you said, 18. I've heard 18 to maybe even 25, 27%, 28%. And even though some of them are talking at that number, they're not really doing full service. In fact, one of the largest property managers in this area, they asked the property owners to go list their property on Facebook and go sign up for different groups on Facebook and list your own property.
Right.
Wait a second. If I am doing that, what benefit is it for me to pay you so much money?
Right.
I'm paying you 20% and you still want me to market my own property? That's not full service, right?
No.
So even the big players and the small players, they claim to do full service, but they'll turn around and ask the homeowner to do something. Oh, hey, property owner, if not listing it, by the way, something is broken. you need to come fix it. I'm not gonna do any of those things.
Right.
So, the property owners, they want to be completely hands off. They want to hand off the property, to your point, and just get check every month. And more importantly, we want to be transparent. We want our property owners to trust us that we take care of the property and we are actually making sure that you're getting paid for it and you're not worried about getting paid. So that's the biggest differentiator. That there, as a full service, we are covering all the bases, and we want to build that trusted relationship with the homeowner, and be as transparent as possible. I'll give you another example. This was funny. The other day, we were talking to a homeowner, and um, what happened was, um, the homeowner has her owner's closet locked up and everything. And this happens, of course. There are some unruly guests. We, by the way, vet every guest before they check in.
Okay.
Some of these guests broke the owner's closet and left it. And the property manager, who's supposed to fix it, said, yeah, your house is clean, everything is good, you don't even have to worry about it. When you're doing your check-in tomorrow, everything is in good place. The owner walks in, the place is dirty, cleaners did not even clean, and they have find this broken owner's closet. I mean, that's a bad experience. What kind of message does the homeowner get when this is what the property manager is doing to them?
Yeah.
So those kind of things. I mean, big or small, we are seeing those in the industry. And where we want to be different is, every homeowner gets either Ian or me. We are the only 2 points of contact for the homeowners. They don't have to call a 1-800 number. They'll always hear from one of us. And as I said, it's all about building that trust with the homeowner.
Yeah, that's amazing. As again, I can talk to this from experience. We had our short-term rental for almost 4 years before we ended up selling it and reinvesting that money elsewhere. But our experience, we self-managed it. I say we, my wife is the champion of our relationship and doing that kind of stuff. So she did most of the management on it. I helped a little. But when we actually started interviewing companies, what I found was, and it seems like you guys aren't doing this, but what I found was a lot of the companies were either very host facing, so meaning they were very, very engaged with the homeowners and making sure that the homeowner was taken care of, but then your property might not get listed for 6 months because they're not customer focused enough.
Yeah.
And then other companies I found were very, very customer focused. They were like, it's all about the customer is always right. And then I would call because I had a question, and it was like, oh, we'll get back to you in 48 hours maybe, and they weren't really host focused. So that's obviously a balance that you guys have to kind of manage, and it sounds like it would literally be one of you two juggling that relationship, which is great. I love that. I love that it's someone local in the same time zone that, you're not, that has likely been into your property or been around it, and done all that. So that's very, very cool. As far as, go ahead.
I'd like to quickly add a comment there. You hit the nail on the head with this one. There is a balance. You cannot sacrifice the property owner for the guest or the guest for the property owner. There's a proper balance. And with homeowners, we are local. We are walking their property before every guest check-in and after every guest check-out. But at the same time, given that we have national presence, we cannot continue our operations efficiently if we just keep throwing people at it. We obviously want to scale. We want to add some more properties. So that's why we partnered with Grand Welcome at a national level. They provide us with all the technology that we need, the guest services and everything. The technology that ensures that we are able to market the property on 80 different online channels and synchronize all those calendars. Just imagine if you have one property listed on so many websites and one guest makes a reservation on one and not the other one. So you have to sync all that. And then in addition, you have to also bear in mind that you are maximizing the revenue for the homeowners. So you have to keep a track of what kind of events are happening in the local market, and what your competition is renting out for.
Right.
So that way you're not losing money, right? So that balance is incredibly important. While we want to make sure that the property owners are getting our attention for every single property, we're making sure that we are also giving the guests a good experience. So the guests are not getting turned off because we are too uh, we are pampering the homeowners too much
Right.
at the expense of the guests, right? If the guests have a bad experience, they're not coming back. If they're not coming back, then you lose revenue.
Right.
But at the same time, if we are pandering too much to the guests, then the homeowners have a bad experience. Now, they're even though they're making the money, they're probably also losing out on quality of life and those kind of things. So we want to hit that balance, making sure both the homeowners and the guests who are making those reservations are happy.
Right. So this was also something I wanted to ask that was off of, the original thing we talked about was, do you, and if you don't have numbers, it's all right, but, one of the determining factors when I was looking into should we self-manage versus should we hire a property management company was, yeah, it's 20%, but if a property management company can make me 10% more than I was making previously, then it's actually only 10% based on what I'm netting right now, right? Because I have all my other fees as a business owner, but 10% for freedom of mind and to be able to turn my phone on airplane mode, that's cheap. I'm happy to pay that. So, do you have any idea or any estimate for how much more, again, just an average, you're able to net a homeowner versus if they self manage?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you a few examples, but also let me answer the question about the numbers. So we are doing uh, a promotion right now.
Okay.
But before I go into the promotion, we usually charge 21% for a single family house,
Okay.
and we charge 23% for a condo as our property management fee. However, we are running a promotion now. We are saying you get 19% in management fee. And I'll jump to that example. We were just talking to a homeowner a few weeks ago. They are with a current property manager that was bringing them about, I'd say, $30,000 in annual revenue, and their management fee was at 10%. So 10%, $3,000. So
Right.
they were netting about $27,000. When we ran our analytics, and this is again something that is provided by Grand Welcome Corporate, they ran the analytics and said, wait a second, this property can easily make $70,000. So let's be conservative and say year on year, with recession and everything, we're probably not going to get 70,000. Let's say 60,000. We'll get 60,000, and that's conservative. Now, if I take uh, and apply my 20% to that $60,000, that's $12,000 less. So
Right.
they're still netting $48,000 versus what they were netting at 27.
Right.
If you look at it in that example, we almost came close to doubling their revenue. We went from $27,000 to $48,000. So a good 80% bump.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So yeah, that's the kind of service we provide. We will make sure that we understand what kind of revenue this property can generate, and we'll maximize it, market it to make sure we hit that revenue projection. Now, the other thing I wanted to say, hopefully I've not forgotten. Um, damn, I'm having an old man moment. It'll come back to me.
No worries.
So revenue, to your point, numbers wise, it. Oh yeah, this is the other example. Um, because we are a nationwide chain, we have 1,600 properties. Um, we get super host status on Airbnb.
Okay.
We get premium host status on VRBO. which means we get 20%, our properties get 20% more visibility on those platforms, which means more visibility means translates more revenue,
Right.
right? So when we did this analysis, our back office pricing analysts have checked this. Every time a property owner moves over from a small property manager to someone like us who is who has a superhost status, there's an immediate 15 to 20% minimum bump in revenue per year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That pays for the whole service. You now get a service that someone's going to do all the legwork for you, and that's great. That's awesome.
Simply by moving from small to big and not even changing the marketing approach.
Right.
But we also improve our marketing, improve your property's marketing. So obviously the revenue will be a lot more than 15%, but just basic switch, do nothing else. Everything else remains same. You go from small property manager to big property manager like us.
Yeah.
20% bump.
That's awesome. So I know you had said, that obviously you host as a consumer. If I go on Airbnb right now and I click on Destin, it looks like the map has chicken pox. There's 1,000 options to pick from. Something you said that I thought was really cool that I've seen before on a really small scale, but it seems to be more like kind of unique stays, was having an experience tied to those properties. I think there was somewhere up in Georgia that's like an Airbnb on an ostrich farm, where it's like, yeah, you can feed an ostrich from your window before you go to bed. Obviously that's not here, but when you say you're going to have experiences with these properties, is the property going to be tied specifically to one experience, or is it going to be more that you are going to have a multitude of experiences available for any property that someone chooses?
Yeah. So we want to make experience available to any guest.
Okay.
If the homeowner itself wants certain type of experience that's not available anywhere else, then certainly we'll work with them. So for instance, some of the homeowners have golf carts, they have skis associated with their properties as well, or attached there. Most of the homeowners these days include beach chairs and umbrellas and so on.
Right.
So those kind of things, yeah, sure. But in addition, experiences like I was saying earlier, bringing a hibachi grill to your pool party, for instance, we can bring that to any of the property. If there is a huge party going on, and let's say there's a wedding party in town, and they want to go take some pictures on the beach, or maybe hang out after a long day of activities. They want to hang out and relax by the beach. And enjoy the nice bonfire there. Then we'll set it up for them. We're also talking about arranging some charter boats. One of the potential homeowners, I say potential, one of the potential homeowners we're talking with, they have a huge charter boat, and they also have adventures around the world, around the country. They'll take you on wine tours and so on. And they bring some of those adventures to Destin.
Gotcha.
When they come here, we want to just imagine this. We say, you have your charter boat, let's go fish. And once you come back from fishing, let's go straight to something like Dewey's in Destin. And they'll take your fresh caught fish and they'll cook it right there for you.
Yeah.
Now that's an experience. Or you bring that fish to your hibachi grill, bring the hibachi grill to your home or that property, and you hand that fish to that person, and they'll make it right there in front of you.
Yeah.
Now that's an experience we want to bring. If someone says we want a little more adventure, maybe take us to an escape room or something, or put us on some jet skis and take us into the river or something, or the Gulf. Okay. So those are the experiences we want to package for a guest. We'll inform them ahead of time, probably for the homeowners to market and maximize more. We'll probably say, hey, these are some of the experiences attached with this property, and we'll list it. That way, guests know to ask us. Or when the guests have made the reservation, we'll go back in and say, hey, by the way, here are all the options, things to do in this area. And we are already building out our website with all those things, saying here are the top 5 things to do when you're in town, top 10 places to eat or experience, top 10 picturesque places to go take your pictures.
Right.
Everyone's doing reels and podcasts and TikToks these days. They want to know what's the best place to go and do that. So we want to be that one-stop destination for any guest who is making that reservation. So to your question, would these experiences be only available at one property or all? It's for all.
Awesome. Very cool. Well, yeah, that's nice. I mean, and that was kind of what I was exactly trying to, make sure that was there an experience specific to a property, or are they kind of out there for everyone? So that's very cool, out there for everyone. A couple days ago, I had a guest on the podcast. The episode's not released yet, but his business name, I guess, is Dan in the Sand or Sandcastle, one or the other. But he's a professional sandcastle builder, and he teaches lessons. So you can commission him, and he'll come out and he'll teach. He'll either build one of the big cool things on the beach for you for like weddings and stuff, or maybe you could have him come out and teach someone how to build it instead of just everyone go to the beach here if you're here. It's beautiful beaches. You can't beat them, but
it is.
You'll remember that, but you'll really remember building a sandcastle with your kids and, having these. And he doesn't build little sandcastles. He's building, 6 to 8 feet long, and they're, 4 or 6 feet tall. They're huge sandcastles, and he's able to teach people how to do that, which is a really cool experience. I thought it's an experience I want to have, and I've been here for 7 years, rolling around in the sand.
Yeah, indeed. It's an incredible talent we have in the local community. To your point, absolutely. Yeah, imagine building a Magic Kingdom castle on the beach,
right,
for young children who are coming. And Destin, by the way, has the best family-friendly beaches in all of Florida. There's no other beach better than Destin, if you ask me. And if you're bringing your children and building that magic castle there, I think Sand the Man or something, that's the guy who does the sandcastles, professional
Dan,
sandcastle.
well, the one I talked to, I think there's a couple of them, but Dan in the Sand is the one I talked to.
Okay, yeah, Dan in the Sand. And so, yeah, definitely these could be experiences. Now I'll go back to one quick clarification, if you will, to your question earlier. Some of these homes have unique characteristics as well. I was talking to one of my colleague, Pierre, if you will, who runs a franchise in Orlando, and each of his house, he builds them with different themes, whether that's a Star Wars theme or a Toy Story theme. The bedrooms are that way. Your cubbies have special theme, rooms have special themes. So he's gone above and beyond to do that, and we will work with some of the homeowners to see if their properties can be put up with a certain theme if they render well, or maybe there are some unique properties with pools in the background. Maybe you make it a tiki bar kind of an experience in the background, in the backyard. Have a proper tiki roof with a bar, a grill, and everything. So depending on what kind of experiences the homeowners want, and all of those things, by the way, when homeowners put that sweat equity and that equity to have that experience, they all rent for higher prices because guests want to have those experiences.
Right.
So it's not just a cost for the sake of cost. It also adds to your revenue return.
Right. Yeah, that's great. So I got to ask on the events, and Ian, this is a question for you. Kumar brought up events like going out on Sea-Doos and charters and stuff like that. Are you going to be leading the charge? Are you taking people out on charters, or are you just scheduling it and sending them on their way?
I would love to go out on the charters, but I'll probably just have to schedule and send them on out.
All right. We'll get you on one, or we'll find someone that'll bring you on one.
Yes.
Well, one of these days we'll have Captain Ian rock the boat.
There you go. Very cool. Well, yeah, no, that's awesome. The unique themes of the houses too is something I really like. My daughter's really big into Harry Potter, and we're planning on going down to Orlando for Harry Potter World for her birthday next year. And those were definitely some of the houses. Some of them were really cool, and each room was kind of themed with its own house for the school. And you got the master bedroom was like the Slytherin room, and the main living room was built like the Gryffindor common room. Like, wow, this is, like, it's really, it really kind of puts you in the reason why you're there, and brings you to, again, that unique stay. I love all the beach bungalows that are here in Florida, but like 99% of them are beach bungalows. You throw a rock and you're like, look, there's it's got some kind of light blue paint, and everything's covered in seashells and sand stars, and all this stuff. And again, they're cool. I like them. I love the beach. It's why I live here. But you don't really get to like stay in a Star Wars house if you're here, and I think that's definitely something that people would appreciate more, because they can go to the beach bungalow on their own, but having that unique opportunity is very, very cool. I like it. Well, I don't want to cut you off, and I still got a little bit more time. Is there anything else you have, or Ian, that you've been kind of quiet, that you wanted to hit on about what you guys do or the experiences?
Ian, you want to take a stab at it? Did I miss anything?
You go ahead. It's super loud. There's kids here who are screaming. So sorry.
All right.
That's all right. This is a family-friendly podcast. I got my kid coming in the room all the time. No worries. Just for anyone who's watching, Ian's got construction in his actual apartment or condo, right? So he got kicked out. You're stuck in a common room. Now you got kids playing. I love it. Working all the time. Doesn't matter what the situation is. He'll answer the phone. He'll be there for you.
That's it.
Very cool. Well, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, I know you've been in the area for a long time. You've visited here a bunch. Ian, you've been in the area for a long time too. What are some of your guys' favorite things to visit here? So if someone didn't take you up on one of your experiences, or let's say you were getting a house, you were the renter coming into town, and you had the opportunity to pick whatever experience you want, what would you recommend people go do while they're here?
Yeah. Well, for me, put me on a beach any day of the year. I'll walk all day long. I love walking by the beach, listening to the water, that ocean sound or Gulf sound. It's really beautiful. For me, it's the most peaceful thing to do. That listening to the water, and it doesn't bother me if there are children screaming and playing in the background. But I think that's the father in me that I don't mind, or maybe I have selective filtering for for those noises. But I enjoy walking on the beach.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing that, definitely putting up a fire by the beach. That's incredibly soothing as well. Otherwise, my personal favorite would be to go uh, try local cuisines. There are some really good restaurants. Call outs to McGuire's, Dewey's, Taste
Yep.
of India is one of the good places, definitely. And uh, yeah, this is that edit part. I'll let Ian take over.
Well, what you got, Ian, other than trying to find a quiet room while you're here?
I think we're good at now. All right. So I mean, the beach is great, like Kumar said, but there's also parts of the northern part of Okaloosa County that are great, with the Blackwater River State Park, where you can do canoeing. There's Rocky Bayou State Park in Niceville. There's Henderson Beach State Park and Topsail as well. So this region alone has a lot of very well maintained state parks that you should definitely get to while you're here. And I love eating too. It's what we do here. And I'm gonna throw out sushi from Harbor Docks. I want the grouper sandwich from Stubby's on the island. Those are my go-to places.
Give me a good sushi. I tried Harbor Docks sushi. Surprisingly good. I did not expect a restaurant that had like 5, 6 different types of cuisines to have such a good sushi.
Yeah.
It really blew my mind out. I mean, they were really good.
Awesome. You said that's Harbor Docks sushi?
Harbor Docks.
Okay. I don't think I've had that before. I'm going to have to try that.
It's it's the best. Just don't go anywhere else.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, you gotta try
Yes.
it. You know, the next time in town, the three of us. It's on
Yes. Yes.
Sounds good. I love it. No, that's awesome. Those are all great recommendations. I mean, obviously the beaches here, definitely go experience the beach. To Ian's point, I just want to throw out there, a lot of people don't realize how many natural springs are in this area, and they're colder. It's not warm water. It's not the Gulf water, but the natural springs are beautiful as long as you can get them when it hasn't rained. They're crystal clear water. You don't have to worry about alligators for the most part in the springs themselves because the water's too cold. The gators don't like them, which I'm terrified of dark water. It's just not my thing. So when someone's like, jump in this muddy, dark water, I'm like, no, I'm good. Thanks. That's where dinosaurs live. But the springs, I'm much more comfortable getting in. So very cool. Well, I appreciate Kumar, Ian. I appreciate your time very much coming on the show. Thank you so much. Anything else? Any parting words?
No, I think the only call outs would be for Dallas Cowboys, I suppose.
All right. I'll allow it.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. It was great chatting with you. We'll have to do it again. I want to do a follow up in like a year for sure to see where you guys are at. I know you guys are pretty new into the area, so seeing where you guys have taken this thing would be super exciting, I think. And we'll get you back on soon.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. This was great, Micah. Looking forward to our collaboration.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See ya.